Hello and welcome to part 4. The first thing I want to talk about is a couple of mistakes that I believe I made back in this video, my Revelation 12 1-5 revealed video. If you remember, I had the sun just out to the side right here beside the woman, and I thought at that time that was in front of the woman. I believe that was wrong. If we wait just a few days, the sun gets over on top of the woman, which would be between her and us, and that would be in front of the woman. Also, Jupiter is only 2 days from being birthed right here. Now, I have already fixed that on the timeline, which brings us to the second mistake I believe I made. I had originally found at a couple of other websites the constellation of Ophiuchus, which I have here in red, was somehow connected to God's throne. So when Mercury comes by and touches it, I thought at that time that that's what it was referencing to. I do believe that was a mistake because of what I've recently found, which is only 5 days after this. On December 17th of 2017, we get this nice little sign up in the heavens, and Mercury is part of it. Mercury was the one that came by and caught up the child to take him to God's throne. Now I'm going to guess that this sign up in the heavens is some kind of reference to God's throne. So I'm going to use this sign as the end of the sign of Revelation 12, 3-5. From Revelation chapter 12, we see to the start of this sign, and the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And we see the end of the sign, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. If I'm correct on that, then this sign is about 2 months long. The signs we see in the heavens are all different lengths. This one is over 2 years long. This one is 2 years long. The Bethlehem star is a year long. This one is almost a year long. This one is hours long, but it happens on 3 different days. I talk about that in my part 1 of day counts. This one down here is about a month long. And then we have snapshot type of signs also. Now the reason we had to talk about this sign again is because this is where the 1,260 days from Revelation 12:6 has to count from. Of the 4 signs in the Bible that are talked about being signs in the heavens, here's 1, 2, 3, 4. This was the only one that we don't have anything counting to. All the other signs, including ones that are not talked about in the Bible, all have the day counts counting to or from them. This was the only one, so this is where I'm looking for the 1,260 days. Now the sister verse of Revelation 12:6 is Revelation 12:14, and that counts from this sign to this sign. That means the Revelation 12:6 is going to end up on this sign. However, it has to get there by being a shortened day. It has to work just like the other 3 signs, in which one of them counts from a sign out to the sign, and then the other one counts and gets shortened through that 17-hour day and brings it back into alignment with that sign. We've seen that 3 times now, and this one has to work the same way. Now I ran into a problem in that if I count from this part of the sign, it ended up nowhere. If I counted from the throne of God part of the sign, it ended up nowhere. So I had to go to this sign and count backward through the shortened days to find out where it started. That winds up on December 5th of 2017. I want you to notice that Mars, or war, is inside the woman. We know that in Revelation 12, the woman is fleeing here. That's because the Antichrist or Satan is coming after her. Now the only really interesting part that happens on December 5th is this little conjunction over here. Mercury the messenger lines up right underneath Saturn or Satan. Now that raises a big question in what is this referring to? Could this be when Satan gets thrown out of heaven down to earth? Now, if that's true, then I need to move this Satan cast down from this sign over to within this sign. Now, I want to remind you the kind of signs that God gives to Saturn. Here we have a little conjunction, a little conjunction. Here he is with his buddies before he gets thrown into the pit. The biggest one we see him is in this one right here when Saturn is in defeat at the foot of the cross because of what Jesus did on the cross. And then we have this little conjunction. Now I'm going to guess, I think this is when Satan gets thrown out of heaven. But that's just a guess. I can't prove that. So let's add all of this new information to our timeline. But before we do that, I just want to take a look at God's throne again, in which Saturn plays a part in it. And I believe, and this is just another guess, the reason that that happens is because Satan just got cast down to earth. So he's not here right now. Here's the updated timeline with the new information. Here's the start of the sign, the end of the sign, and come right down here is within the sign, December 5th, 2017. We count 1,260 days. That's Revelation 12:6, and it winds up on May 18th, 2021. Look, look, look. May 18th, 2021 is Daniel 12:12, where we counted 1,335 days from this sign. Now that we have all the day counts, let's take a closer look at them. 4 of them count where we do not see the shortened days from Matthew 24:22. 2 of them count from this sign to this sign. 1 counts from this sign to this sign. And 1 counts from this sign to this sign. Then we have 4 of the day counts that see the Matthew 24:22 shortened days and have a 17-hour day. 1 of them counts from this sign to this sign. 1 of them counts from this sign to this sign. 1 of them counts from this sign to this sign. And then the last one counts from this sign to this sign. The days that get shortened are the exact day counts. The 1,335, the 1,260, the 1,290, and the 1,260. The other longer amounts are the ones that we see that don't see the shortened days. The 42 months, the 42 months, and the time, times, and half a time from both Daniel and Revelation. Each one of the verses that does not use the 17-hour day pairs up with one that does. Daniel 12:7 pairs up with Daniel 12:12. Revelation 12:14 pairs up with Revelation 12:6. Daniel 12:11 pairs up with Revelation 13:5, and Revelation 11:2 pairs up with Revelation 11:3. They each pair up in that they end at the same sign, but also in relation to where they are in the Bible or what the verses are actually talking about. Daniel 12:7, and I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and a half, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. Daniel 12:12, blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,335 days. These two verses pair up because Daniel 12:12 is the longest day count that we have. It should go out to the very last sign. Daniel 12:7 says, all these things shall be finished. That means it should also go out to the very last thing. And both of these verses count right to the sign of the Son of Man. The sign of the Son of Man is the last sign we see. Revelation 11:2 and 11:3 are right next to each other in the Bible. They start before the Revelation 12 sign, and they both end on the same sign, even though they're starting from different signs. Daniel 12:11 and Revelation 13:5 have to end at the same place. Daniel 12:11 is talking about how much time is left in the 7-year period. Revelation 13:5 is talking about how long the Antichrist gets to speak great things and blasphemies. They have to end at the same time. Revelation 12:6 and 12:14 are both talking about the woman fleeing into the wilderness. They both have to end at the same time. Revelation 12:6 and 12:14 start on different signs that are about 2.5 months apart. I'm still working on this and trying to figure it out. This is not what I was expecting. Daniel 7:25 pairs up with 1,230 days, which has no verse. And Daniel 8:13 and 14, I believe, pairs up with itself. Let's take a look at that. Daniel 8:14 counts backwards from December 14th. I had a couple of people ask me whether that was through the shortened days or the regular days. I had done it through the regular days. I did it now through the shortened days, in which we have this nice little sign that comes up on November 11th. I'm sorry I can't make this sign a little bit bigger, but as you can see, I've run out of room. But what it is here is it's the constellation of the scales. The sun is about here, Venus is about here, and Saturn is out here. Now, I do not know what this is referring to. I haven't looked into it yet, but I need to put it up here just so that everybody has the information. Okay, so let's count the day counts that we now have. Here's 1, here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's all 10 out of the Bible. But I want to throw something extra out there. If we count the 1,230 days as being a day count, which I think we can, that's 11. And if we count the shortened days out here, that's 12. So we actually have 12 day counts, which is just an extra bit of information. Now, I also want you to notice that we also have the 4 signs talked about in the Bible. We now have everything that I know about that the Bible talks about. We've got the signs, we've got the day counts. What's next? So in this video, I've given you what I believe is a lot of confirmation that these day counts are right, even though there's still other people out there saying they're all the same thing. But I want to go a step further and look at the shortened days, the 7 hours shorter. Do you know how many sevens there are in the book of Revelation? It's not just the 7 angels with the 7 plagues and the 7 seals and the 7 trumpets. There's also the 7 churches, the 7 spirits, the 7 golden candlesticks, the 7 stars, which are 7 angels, the 7 heads with 7 crowns, the 7 hills, the 7 thunders, the 7 lamps, the 7 torches, the 7 kings, the 7 horns with 7 eyes, and the 7,000 people. That is just more confirmation in what God is showing us with this.